was fun to see a lot of community members up there, a lot of familiar faces up there taking advantage. They sold out for our community day. They were full all day. So it was fun. Great opportunity. We appreciate them and their partnership with us.
Welcome to Herrimanology.
The official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Friday, August 8th. Always happy to be Friday. I forgot it was Friday, honestly, until I went through that little thing there.
Well, Thursday was a weird day.
Thursday was a weird day. We had an Employee Appreciation Day yesterday, so the City Hall was closed for the second half of the day. So people wouldn't. Happens once a year, usually around this time. So
Yep.
Some people pair it with vacations and whatnot. So that was a good time. But yeah, so it kind of throws off the mental calendar a bit.
Very much so.
Although we were going to talk about this later, but since we mentioned yesterday morning, we were invited to go to the copper mine, the Rio Tinto's Utah Kennecott Copper Bingham Canyon mine. We were invited by Rio Tinto, and I actually mean literally us. Like, we were invited. You and I and your son Cone were there. Mm-hmm. Other people were invited. They couldn't make it, so it ended up just being that group. But
Kind
it
of
was
a little private tour.
Yeah,
It was fun.
But it was really cool. So we put it in our newsletter. Rio Tinto invited the Herriman community out to, I think they called it Herriman Community Experience Day. They did it for a handful of cities around here. Just an invitation for free tickets for community members to go up there and just kind of get an experience, see the mine, go to their experience center up there, learn about what they do. They had a bunch of staff members on site, some pretty senior staff members up there, kind of walking through the basics of the mines. Yeah, we got kind of a
little private tour.
Yeah,
It was kind of fun.
Almost a VIP. I guess it was a VIP tour. I don't know if I'd consider myself VIP, but anyway.
And it's funny because I think we got the same information that
Yeah.
everybody got, right? That because the same people were up there for everything. We didn't get any special, but it was fun. It was still fun to have, because we had questions about. It was good to talk about our relationship with the mine and that. So it did give us that opportunity. But it was fun to see a lot of community members up there, a lot of familiar faces up there taking advantage. They sold out for our community days, right? They were full all day, so it was fun. It was a great opportunity. We appreciate them and kind of their partnership with us.
Yeah, they're a major neighbor of Herriman, permanent neighbor. In fact, Herriman's history has a lot of ties to the mine. There are a lot of employees of Rio Tinto who live in Herriman, some maybe even podcast listeners. We don't know, but an important neighbor. We have the National Guard to our south. We have the mine to our west, South Jordan and Riverton and Bluffdale on the other sides of the city, but an important neighbor, and they're trying to reach out to the community, both residents and city staff and elected officials, trying to make a stronger relationship and try to be a good neighbor. One thing that stuck out to me was on our way up there, they're talking about some water reclamation. In the past, we've had, like long ago past, there's some contaminated soils issue in the community, and largely from runoff from substances up on the hillside related to the mine. So anyway, a lot of that's been cleaned up. Some of it is still being cleaned up. If you want more information, we can go into it another time. But anyway, so now they have a way to reclaim water for multiple purposes coming off the mountainside, where that runoff no longer even gets close to Herriman, and they can reuse it, and they do reuse it multiple times on the mine up there.
Yeah, and they told us they have to keep it on site now. All runoff no runoff is allowed. Like they have to keep it on site.
Yeah, so they treat it and then they reuse it often for dust control once it's gone through total cleansing process, and a lot of reusing up there. They are seeding with kind of a native. Now that I think about it, it's kind of an oxymoron, native seeding. Native would, anyway,
right?
Native type seeding up on the hillside there for multiple things. It helps with soil erosion. It helps keep things clean, keeps dust control.
Dust control, yep.
A lot of things. Anyway, they're investing enormous amounts of money to try to be a good neighbor, and some of it is regulated, some of it isn't. But anyway, it was kind of neat to see that up close.
They told us the entire east facing, so the side facing the city will entirely look vegetated again in the next few years, honestly, because they're going to flip around and, as they told us, kind of start mining on that west side,
yeah.
hopefully. So they'll be able to seed that. It'll look like a typical mountain. They're testing some trees in some of the soil. They told us would so kind of add some. So it'll look different. It won't be that typical copper looking, brown looking. In the future, it'll look vegetated and like a mountain again, I guess.
Yeah. So really interesting. They did mention they hope to do that again. People can always purchase tickets and go up there for the visitor experience, but they're hoping to do another community day at some point in the future. I won't commit a calendar date to it, but they talked about it. It just seemed like it was well received, and people liked having the extra learning experience. So, anyway, that was
great.
Cool.
It was good.
Next week, shifting gears here entirely. Next week we have the city council meeting. Feels like it's been a year since we've even had one.
It's been great.
Next week, honestly, is going to be a doozy. Some long agendas. So I guess catching up on a few things. An important day too because we'll have a couple of property tax, truth and taxation public hearings.
Right.
One at 6:30 for the fire services, and another one at 7 for law enforcement services, which will be followed by the regular city council meeting.
Right.
Nobody likes property taxes. Everybody just kind of cringes when this time of year comes, but it's important, and there's some really important city services that are funded by property taxes. And the way that Herriman has it set up is law enforcement and fire and emergency medical services are set up almost exclusively by property taxes.
Right.
And this is a way to keep up with the costs. So there are a couple of proposed tax increases to keep up with the real actual cost of providing those services to the community.
Right. And they're small ones, but we know, we talk about that every time we've had to do this. We know small is still a big deal, but there's a lot of information out there like we talked. We could get into this again, but, please go read about this and the basis and how property taxes work. And we'll explain it if you want to come out Wednesday night, but yeah.
I never practice for the podcast because I just don't have time. But earlier today, I was running through verbally out loud in my office like a moron, running through a couple of practice. How can I explain how this all works in a way that will help people understand what's happening and get rid of some misinformation in a way that'll make sense? I couldn't get it under 8 minutes.
It's hard.
It's just how property tax law is in Utah. So we do hope to produce a video at some point. It just won't be in this podcast. But a way to come up with a simple explainer video, how it works, and just exactly what is happening when you get a tax notice that such and such entity is proposing to increase taxes. So the city in general is not fire. The fire part of the city is, and the police side of the city is, but not the general city. There are other entities. Both Jordan Valley and Central Utah Water Districts are. I think that's all. I can't remember if there are any others.
Because the school district is not this year. Correct. Yep.
So they're a handful. They all have public hearings if you're interested in all that. But if you want information on our side of things, herriman.gov/property-tax, or if you just go to the main webpage, on the slider will eventually get to a property tax thing. You can click on that. So hopefully that is helpful if you want to know more about it.
Yep. Love it.
We meant to talk about this last week and just forgot.
So funny.
The week before, so 2 weeks ago, the Planning Commission meeting, there were a couple of businesses approved for, what's the term? Is it conditional use application permit?
Yes.
Anyway, there are a lot of words and jargon here, but anyway, they got approved essentially to build. First, we posted on our social media, Main Street Meats, Colonial Flag are coming in, putting up some pretty significant locations down on the south side of the city. Fantastic
news. Job centers, great. Just huge. 2 more huge ones for the city.
Yeah. So Colonial Flag is, if you're not aware, they have another location right now. I can't remember if it's South Jordan or Sandy. But west side of I-15, they've, for a long time, as long as I can remember, had a manufacturing facility out there. They're a flag maker, flag poles as well. They're setting up another location out in Herriman, and I realized that it's a good site, and they're going forward with it. So
and I think they're going to have a big flag hanging on, because it'll be on the mountainside. It'll be really cool looking over.
I didn't know that.
The valley. That's what I've heard. I hope so. That'd be really cool.
And then the other Main Street Meats, not on Main Street, even though they're called Main Street Meats.
Right.
But they'll be setting up a site there too. And that'll be a really nice addition.
Yep, lot retail site, I believe, too, as well as their production facility, I guess you would call it. But yeah.
No dumb questions this week comes from Aaron.
Okay.
So he actually had a couple semi-related questions. So Aaron asked, with school starting in 2 weeks, he said this a few days ago, will the construction being done in front of Herriman Elementary School be completed prior to all the children having to walk through that zone to get to school? The answer is yes. Knocking on wood.
Right. That's the plan.
The plan, the expectation, everything is on schedule to be out of the way by the time school starts. That's a thing we do with all of our contractors. If they're affecting schools, they have to work during the summer and they have to be done when school starts. So that's the plan. I say maybe probably knocking on wood because sometimes really weird stuff happens and it hangs over by a couple of days, but we don't think that's going to be the case.
Hope not.
So that's all part of the Old Town water replacement upgrade project going on. It's been locally a pretty impactful one that's been going on for a long time. Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, there are actually a couple of major traffic impacts over the next couple of weeks. So I think it's next week. So 6,000 West, where it connects with 134, that north leg of that intersection will be closed for about a week. So they have to put in some water piping across the road. So there'll be a lane restriction. We'll post this on our social media too, so you can kind of a visual map. But yeah, 6,000 West, just a little chunk of it will be closed, like hard closure for about a week. So if you usually turn right from, let's say, westbound 134 to northbound on 6,000, you'll have to go around for a few days. And then the week after that, when that's reopened, 6,400 West will have a similar closure.
Wow.
134 and 6,400. I think that one's only half the intersection, but still a pretty significant impact for a few days. So just grit your teeth and bear it. Plan the extra couple minutes. Same thing as always, and then within a few days it'll be over. So
we're almost done with all of this.
Construction's so frustrating, but I think I remember somebody asking, maybe on a different social media post, why can't we just finish one road and then do the next one? To an extent, that's possible, and we try as much as we can not to have projects detour into each other, because that creates a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's been especially frustrating this year with the Bangerter construction. It's outside of our city. It's totally out of our hands, but it does affect us. We've talked about it all year long.
And the sewer project, kind of outside of.
Yep. Same thing. That one's been in front of my house for last year and this year. It's a lot. And people are tired of traffic, and totally get it. We're there with you. Mm-hmm. But if you waited until all the impacts from one project were done before starting another, you would never get anything done.
Yep.
It would just take far too long. We're already years behind on a bunch of projects that we wish we could afford. Mm-hmm. So when we get to a point where we can afford a project, we get it done. Because that's when we have the money. That's when we have the best time to do it.
Yeah.
You just can't do that. And sometimes it's a major headache for people, and it's kind of how it goes.
Well, sometimes waiting a year can add to the cost, which is a taxpayer. That's not city money, right? That's taxpayer money, and we try to find that balance. It's complicated, and I don't know. Maybe we don't always make the right decisions, but we're doing the best we can to upgrade our infrastructure so that it's better for all of us. And that's just not. I was telling everybody, it's easy to see the road repairs that need done. The stuff below the ground is always that. We don't see that. That's not as visual, right? But those are just as critical, like the sewer project and some of these water lines. Those are just as critical as the roads, so we don't have issues down the road. So those, you may not see those needs right now, but they're needs that we've been waiting on for years as well.
Yep. So I'll always plug our construction project map, herriman.gov/construction-projects. People seem to be liking that as a resource to check in on whatever's happening. We do our best to keep it updated day to day. Yeah, construction, there's really never a point where there's no construction going on. No. That's just how it is. And even in well-established cities that are built out, there are no new developments coming in. All those are in construction too. That's just kind of how it goes. Yep. So don't mean to shoot down that quite. I don't remember who commented that, but that's frankly how it is. Yeah. So get the frustration though. Totally get it.
Absolutely. Like you said, we live it too.
Yep. So. And then Aaron's second half of the question, sorry to go on a tangent there, he asked if there are any thoughts on putting an overpass across 134th South for kids' safety. We get questions like this from time to time. I think Aaron's talking about a pedestrian route. There are a few issues. The first one and foremost is cost, and that kind of all comes down to that. Those are really, really expensive. Mm-hmm. I'll give you one example. There's another city who has from a different project, pulled the pedestrian bridge from where it was, and it was given to them to be able to relocate somewhere else in their city. So existing structure, they can just, you would think, just kind of go plop it on site, and there you go, cheap.
Yep.
They're getting some cost estimates back for that, to do that project, and even they're like, even with all the cost savings, they're second guessing whether it's worth it, because it is so expensive, even just to move something. So to build an entirely new one, it's well into the 7 digits. It's for a pedestrian bridge. So, and one of the other issues is those things have to be ADA accessible for, for wheelchairs, which totally get it. But because of that, you have to have sometimes a lot of ramps going up. And by the time it takes to go up those ramps and then cross and then go down all the ramps, we have found that most people just prefer to just cross the road.
Yeah.
So there are some exceptions, like you'll do that over Bangor Highway or really, really heavy traffic roads.
Right.
But some of those others, like 134 or 126 or
where there are
Rosecrest,
stoplights. Yep. Yeah.
it's better to just do a stoplight.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper. That's not even talking about the property acquisition.
I was going to say the property acquisition is probably just as expensive.
Yeah, if you have a house or a business next to that intersection, you have to buy it and then knock it down, and then and that's a whole other thing.
Right.
So it all comes down to cost, and there's some other factors, but so probably not feasible, probably will never happen, but that's kind of what at least the city side of the thinking is. So
Yeah.
creative idea, like we definitely want to keep getting those, and we do pass these along to our engineering team and kind of talk them over, but anyway, that's where that one is. So
When I hate that everything's cost, right? I hate that, right? We hate that. It comes down to cost. It feels like cost over safety. It's not, right? But we do have to balance the two. And so it's, yep.
So anyway, that ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would.
That's all good.
Thanks for coming in on Friday.
Yep.
Happy weekend coming up. Stay cool. It will cool down tomorrow.
Yes. Feels good out there today, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank goodness. We've had so much wind, so much heat, not nearly enough rain. We won't get any rain, but
Right.
at least it'll cool down a little
Well, it's
bit.
fun for me tomorrow. I'm going to share. I know we're long,
Oh.
but tomorrow my son is getting married.
Oh,
And
that's
in
right.
my role, one of the perks of this role, and I've only done one other, right? And it wasn't, I get to marry my son. I get to perform the wedding tomorrow. So
That's so cool.
I'm crazy nervous and excited all at the same time. So I'm that's my weekend is I get to perform a wedding for my son.
I forgot about that
It's really
entirely.
cool. So
Do you have a speech or anything ready?
ChatGPT was very helpful. But they want it meaningful and 30 minutes. So I had to have ChatGPT.
30 minutes?
30 minutes. So it's good. I mean, they want stories told. They want a little.
okay, yeah.
So they wanted to mix into some of that. So it's coming together. We'll
That's
finish
great.
it off today. So
Oh, congratulations.
So it'll be
That's
good.
so cool.
So
All right. Well, man, in front of all that, you came into the podcast anyway. So thanks, Mayor
love
Palmer.
it. Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thank you for listening and watching, and we'll catch you next time.